Young and the Restless early spoilers June 23rd to 27th. Victor and Dumas clash ignites. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Young and the Restless spoilers for June 23rd to 27th, 2025 see Victor Newman, Eric Braeden versus Aristotle Dumas, Billy Flynn exploding. This is going to be a nuclear showdown of two men that really do not like each other. And of course, the identity reveal of the mystery man is coming. As we always do on early edition day, we dive in first with what's coming the rest of this week. Young and the Restless spoilers, Daniel, Danny, and a proposal. On Wednesday, June 18th, Danny Romalotti, Michael Damian, and his son, Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziade, are chatting, and he updates Danny about Lucy Romalotti, Lily Brooks O'Brien, doing better now that she's processing through some of her grief. She's making some more friends. Things are going well with her. And Danny is absolutely thrilled that Daniel is making music with Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, and that it's therapeutic. But Daniel also insists that he and Tessa are just friends when Danny starts asking about that and poking a little bit. However, the dynamic between Daniel and Tessa could change very soon, like by the end of this week and definitely going into next week. Daniel is still missing Heather Stevens, Vale Bloom, and grieving her loss. And Danny, of course, regrets not being present in the way he thinks he should have been for Daniel, but his son reassures him. And then big news. Danny reveals he's going to propose to Christine Cricket Blair Williams, Laura Lee Bell. And then he laughs and says he's going to let Daniel tell Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, about the engagement because Danny doesn't want to have to deal with her. I don't blame him. Daniel offers his blessing. Mariah and Tessa's relationship crisis, Young and the Restless breakdown. Meanwhile, Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, is spiraling and flashing back to whatever dodgy deed she did with that very old man, and she won't look Tessa in the eye, and Mariah insists that what she did was worse than a one-night stand. Tessa says they can get past it, but Mariah wants to split up with her and even has a visitation schedule in hand for their daughter, Aria Porter Copeland. Mariah says she cannot ever tell Tessa what she did. So, I actually hope this is something good and not something stupid they're making into a big deal. You know, I don't know if she murdered this guy and dumped his body. I have no idea. But he reminds me a lot of Ian Ward Ray Wise, so I'm a little worried. But Mariah insists she has to work through it on her own and says she is not going to change her mind about this and walks out on her wife. Tessa is breaking down. She's sobbing. And Daniel walks up, finds her in this state, and is comforting her. Tessa is in Daniel's arms when Mariah comes back, but then she spots them together and walks away looking pretty dejected. Chelsea's accusations and Adam's promise. The Young and the Restless drama unfolds. At work, Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, goes nuts and she randomly accuses Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, of lying to her and going behind her back and publishing hit pieces about Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. Anyway, after they agreed they weren't going to do it. Chelsea really thought he was up to something. And Adam is like, what are you talking about? He was just at his computer playing a video game online with their son Connor Newman, Judah Mackey. So Chelsea realizes that she was being a little crazy. She says she's sorry, and then they do sexy stuff on the couch. So obviously Adam's going to forget about Chelsea's crazy, right? Adam promises that he's not going to break Chelsea's heart, but they both know once Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, sees that they defied him and did not run any of the hit pieces on Billy, there will be consequences. Now the lucky thing right now, Adam knows his dad is very distracted with this Dumas thing in France. So, he thinks they have a little bit of time before the wrath of Victor heads their way. But Adam and Chelsea vow to face Victor together, come what may. Young and the Restless spoilers. The Dumas identity reveal and Jack's regret. On Thursday, June 19th, Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, is ready to finally get the answers that she's been after. But Carter, the mystery man's assistant, keeps delaying and he keeps changing the story about when Dumas will meet them. And it seems like he's definitely lying. For instance, Carter says that Dumas' flight was delayed but we know the mystery man has been in his lair watching everybody assembled on hidden cameras. If Agatha Christie had surveillance equipment, this is what we would be looking at. As of now, Kane Ashby, formerly Daniel Goddard, still looks like the likeliest candidate of Dumas' real identity, but we're supposed to find out on Friday. We're going to get a look at Dumas on Friday, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to reveal his identity, because if they just show his face and drop jaws, the identity is not going to be confirmed. So, it may be a cliffhanger thing where on Monday then somebody says his name. Young and the Restless spoilers. Jack's regrets. Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, begins to regret delaying his honeymoon with Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, to play these reindeer games. He doesn't care about Chancellor and he thinks Billy can just deal with whatever with Victor, but Diane is worried about Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, and what Audra Charles Zuleika Silver has planned. So, she will likely tell Jack they can't go yet. Audra's scheme to entice Kyle seems to be going off well. We're going to see Audra with Kyle getting up close and personal in her space. Close enough to sniff her, which is strange. But is he drunk? Is he drugged? I don't know. Seems strange. Josh Griffith's spoilers say that Audra's old feelings reemerge and complicate things. Amanda's connection to Dumas and a familiar face returns to Genoa City. On Friday, June 20th, Amanda Sinclair's Miss Hale Morgan real connection to Dumas is revealed. Is she more than his lawyer? The wait's finally over. Dumas unveils himself to everybody assembled at the chateau. But the big question is, like I said, are they just going to gape at him or is somebody going to gasp out his name in the final moments of Friday's episodes? Because supposedly he is the last person they expect. But since this is presumably some sort of recast, seeing Billy Flynn's face isn't going to help identify it for any of the viewers. And if you don't know Billy Flynn, trust me, you're going to love him. He was so good on Days of Our Lives. He's an excellent actor. Young and the Restless spoilers, Kyle's betrayal, Victor's plot, and Billy's alliance. The week of June 23rd through the 27th, Audra thinks she has Kyle right where she wants him with Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, focused on her dad and Kyle over. Kyle's at the chateau and Claire is in Chicago with Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley. They're worried about Cole Howard's Eddie games to get Kyle to betray Claire to her heart's content. Of course, Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, is going to find out if he angry and Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, remains an ongoing problem. We'll see if Jack and Diane can save Kyle from Audra and Victor Newman's wicked plot. Young and the Restless spoilers. Billy goes to Dumas. Billy tries to get Dumas to help him get back Chancellor. It's funny because Victor was hoping to team up with Dumas against them, but it can't go both ways. And Victor and Dumas are going to face off. And the battle between those two is supposed to be epic. Some of Billy Flynn's first scenes shot were with Eric Braeden, but that doesn't mean those will be the first scenes aired because, they do shoot out of order. So, Billy is going to be very pleased that this is not an ally for Victor Newman, but it may not be an ally for Billy either. Lily is going to be furious at this reveal, and she's going to have some things to say to Amanda as well. Devin Hamilton, Brighton James, is not going to be comfortable with this reveal either, because it is going to put his sister Lily in a precarious situation because of what seems like a blast from her past. But Phyllis is going to like it a lot, and she's going to wind up in Nick Newman's, Joshua Morrow, arms very soon. So, Phyllis has been spiraling for a while, but she's about to get a business opportunity, a romantic opportunity. Lots of things are about to break loose for Red. The upcoming week on The Young and the Restless is shaping up to be nothing short of explosive as early spoilers for June 23rd to 27th promise power struggles, dangerous rivalries, and deeply personal betrayals that could shift the entire landscape of Genoa City. At the center of it all stands Victor Newman, the ultimate patriarch whose ruthless determination to protect his empire sets the stage for a volatile clash with the cunning and ambitious Dumas. What begins as a strategic maneuver quickly escalates into a fiery confrontation that no one sees coming, drawing in multiple players, stirring old alliances, and testing loyalties in unexpected ways. This is not just a business battle, it's a war for control, respect, and legacy. Victor has always prided himself on being 3 steps ahead of his opponents. For decades, he's stared down rivals, dismantled empires, and reshaped lives with a single calculated move. But this time, the challenge is unlike anything he's faced recently. Dumas isn't just a temporary thorn in his side. He's a calculated, forward-thinking player who's been quietly observing the Newman Empire and biding his time. As whispers spread through Genoa City's business circles, it becomes clear that Dumas is ready to make his move. The tension builds behind the scenes as Victor receives unsettling intel about covert meetings, potential takeovers, and whispers of sabotage that trace directly back to Dumas' camp. The mustache may be seasoned, but he's not about to underestimate a rising power determined to carve out his own legacy. Nikki, ever the voice of reason and support, senses the storm brewing long before it reaches the public eye. She warns Victor to tread carefully, knowing that his instinct to dominate every rival could lead to reckless decisions. But Victor's pride and protectiveness over his family's legacy drive him to act decisively. He sets up a private meeting with Dumas, intending to issue a subtle warning cloaked in polite business talk. What happens next shocks both men. Instead of backing down, Dumas pushes back harder than expected, questioning Victor's methods, criticizing his outdated tactics, and hinting that the future of Genoa City's business world doesn't belong to the old guard anymore. The sparks fly as their conversation turns into a verbal showdown, setting the tone for a week filled with confrontations and ripple effects. As Victor prepares for a counteroffensive, he brings key family members into the fold. Adam senses an opportunity to prove himself and win Victor's favor, offering bold ideas to outmaneuver Dumas. Nick, however, grows uneasy, worried that escalating the situation could backfire. Victoria, ever the strategist, sees Dumas as both a threat and a potential opportunity, depending on how the cards are played. The Newman siblings find themselves once again entangled in their father's battle plans, each with their own perspectives and ambitions. This internal dynamic creates additional tension, as old rivalries between the siblings resurface, while they debate the best way to handle the Dumas threat. Meanwhile, Dumas isn't without his own supporters. Behind closed doors, he's been forging quiet alliances with individuals eager to see Victor's grip on the business world loosen. Some are former rivals of the Newmans who still harbor grudges. Others are opportunistic power players who see aligning with Dumas as a way to climb higher in Genoa City's elite circles. This network of influence begins to emerge throughout the week, revealing that Dumas has been more embedded in the city's fabric than anyone suspected. His moves are strategic, precise, and aimed at hitting Victor where it hurts most, his empire's stability and public image. While the corporate warfare escalates, personal lives begin to intertwine with the larger drama. Nikki finds herself torn between supporting Victor's fight and protecting their family from the fallout. She confides in friends and allies, hinting at her fears that this conflict could reopen old wounds and drag the Newman family into chaos. At the same time, Adam's growing involvement raises suspicions among those who remember his past betrayals. Is he genuinely committed to the family cause, or is he using this war to carve out more power for himself? His meetings with shady contacts and his willingness to take risks spark debates among viewers about whether redemption or betrayal lies ahead. Victoria, meanwhile, begins to explore a more nuanced approach. Rather than engaging in all-out war, she quietly investigates Dumas' background, digging for information that could either neutralize him or give her leverage in future negotiations. Her discoveries reveal startling connections between Dumas and some familiar faces in Genoa City, including individuals who may have their own hidden agendas. Victoria's calm, analytical style contrasts sharply with Victor's aggressive tactics, creating an internal push and pull within the Newman camp that adds layers of intrigue. Elsewhere in Genoa City, other storylines weave into this central conflict, enriching the week's drama. Jack Abbott observes the unfolding situation with cautious interest. Although Jabot isn't directly involved in the Newman-Dumas clash, Jack knows that shifts in the power structure could have ripple effects on his own business. He quietly discusses strategies with trusted confidants, weighing whether to remain neutral or to exploit the situation for Jabot's benefit. His history with Victor means he's well aware of how dangerous these business wars can become, and he's determined to protect his company from becoming collateral damage. Phyllis, ever the schemer, sees the chaos as an opening to pursue her own interests. Her involvement may seem tangential at first, but spoilers hint that she'll stumble upon key information that could influence the balance of power. Whether she chooses to sell that information, use it for leverage, or keep it hidden remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: Phyllis thrives when the city is buzzing with secrets and power throughout the week as both sides prepare for their next moves. Victor decides to go public with a bold announcement, signaling that the Newman Empire will not bow to threats. This declaration sends shockwaves through the business community and sets Dumas on edge. Instead of retreating, Dumas counters with a surprise maneuver of his own, one that blindsides Victor and his team. Early spoilers tease that this unexpected move could involve a major acquisition, a leak that damages Newman's reputation, or a key ally switching sides. Whatever the specifics, it's clear that this is not a one-sided battle. Dumas is more than capable of playing on Victor's level. As the week progresses, the personal stakes become even clearer. Nikki grows increasingly concerned about Victor's health and mindset, worried that his obsession with defeating Dumas could take a toll. Flashbacks to previous high-stakes battles remind viewers of how far Victor has gone in the past to protect his legacy. Will this be another chapter where he crushes his opponent, or is Dumas the one challenger who can genuinely shake his empire? Adam's role continues to develop in intriguing ways. He begins taking bolder steps, sometimes without Victor's approval, which creates both tension and opportunity. His willingness to operate in morally gray areas could either make him a valuable asset or a dangerous liability. Nick's discomfort grows as he watches his brother's maneuvers, fearing history may repeat itself. Victoria, ever the tactician, begins to lay the groundwork for a plan B in case Victor's aggressive approach fails. Her quiet meetings and discreet phone calls suggest she's thinking several moves ahead, positioning herself to either broker peace or seize control if the situation spirals out of control. The climax of the week comes when Victor and Dumas face each other again, this time in a more public setting. Their initial private clash was tense, but this encounter is fiery, with sharp words, veiled threats, and power plays unfolding in front of key witnesses. The entire business community feels the impact as both men stake their claims. The fallout from this confrontation sets the stage for the weeks to come as alliances shift, secrets unravel, and the future of multiple Genoa City power players hangs in the balance. By the end of the week, the lines have been drawn. Victor is more determined than ever to crush Dumas, while Dumas has proven that he's not easily intimidated. Family members are forced to choose sides, secrets begin to bubble to the surface, and old rivalries gain new life in the wake of this fresh conflict. This is not just a storyline about business, it's about legacy, power, ego, and survival. As early spoilers for June 23rd to 27th reveal, The Young and the Restless is preparing to deliver one of its most compelling corporate story arcs in recent memory. With Victor and Dumas locked in a dangerous dance of power, the Newman family divided, and outside players circling like sharks, viewers can expect high-stakes drama, emotional confrontations, and shocking twists that keep everyone guessing. This clash isn't just a temporary skirmish. It's the spark that could ignite a long-running war with consequences for every major character in Genoa City. Stay tuned because when Victor Newman goes to war, no one emerges unscathed, and Dumas may be about to prove that even legends can be challenged. As the dust begins to settle from Victor and Dumas' explosive public showdown, the fallout reverberates across Genoa City, sending shockwaves through boardrooms, living rooms, and every corner of the Newman Empire. The power struggle isn't just escalating, it's evolving into a multi-front war that pulls in players who never expected to find themselves in the crossfire. What began as a calculated business maneuver now threatens to ignite old feuds, unravel carefully maintained alliances, and expose secrets that have been buried for years. Victor retreats to the Newman ranch after the confrontation, gathering his inner circle for an emergency strategy session. His trademark steel gaze reveals both fury and resolve. The mustache has been challenged, and that's not something he takes lightly. He makes it clear to his family that this is no time for hesitation. They must strike back strategically and decisively, leveraging every resource at their disposal to weaken Dumas' growing influence. But even as Victor delivers his rallying cry, cracks within his team become more evident. Nick is the first to voice concern, cautioning against an overly aggressive approach that could backfire. He argues that Dumas is a different kind of adversary, one who thrives on unpredictability and calculated risks. Adam, on the other hand, takes the opposite stance, insisting that boldness is the only language Dumas understands. Their disagreement quickly intensifies, reviving long-standing tensions between the brothers. Adam's sharp words and Nick's frustration lay bare the deep divide in their visions for the family's future. Victor watches the exchange with a mixture of pride and irritation, knowing that sibling rivalries could either strengthen his strategy or derail it entirely. Victoria, always the cool strategist, listens carefully before stepping in with her own perspective. She believes Dumas is playing a long game and that the Newman family needs to be equally calculated. She proposes setting up a series of covert maneuvers to undermine Dumas from within, including discreetly monitoring his associates, infiltrating his network, and striking when he least expects it. Her proposal impresses Victor, who begins to see the wisdom in blending brute force with subtlety. While the Newmans debate their next moves, Dumas proves he's not about to let Victor control the narrative. He holds a private gathering with some of Genoa City's most influential figures, presenting himself as the future of business in the city. His charisma and bold vision win over several key players who have grown weary of Victor's dominance. He speaks of innovation, change, and a new era, messages that resonate with those looking to break free from the old power structures. Dumas' charm offensive works, and by the end of the night, whispers circulate that a few surprising allies may have switched sides. One of the most shocking developments of the week involves a high-level betrayal that no one sees coming. Early spoilers tease that a trusted Newman insider may secretly be feeding Dumas critical information, giving him the upper hand. Speculation runs wild among fans about who the mole might be. Is it someone inside the corporate structure, a disillusioned family member, or an ambitious employee seeking personal gain? The suspense builds as Victor's paranoia grows. He begins tightening security, investigating everyone around him, and demanding absolute loyalty. Nikki, ever perceptive, notices the toll this battle is taking on Victor. She watches as his obsession grows deeper, recalling past moments when his drive to win nearly cost him everything. She worries that he's walking down a dangerous path, one that could alienate the people he loves most. She confides her fears to trusted friends, but she also knows that trying to stop Victor once he's in battle mode is nearly impossible. Instead, she focuses on finding ways to protect the family from the emotional shrapnel of the war. Phyllis inserts herself deeper into the drama. Her keen instincts pick up on unusual movements within Dumas' network. She stumbles across a critical piece of information that could tilt the balance of power, but she's torn between using it to help Victor or exploiting it for her own gain. Phyllis knows that in Genoa City, knowledge is power, and the way she plays this card could have lasting consequences. Her scenes this week are filled with sly smiles, cryptic remarks, and behind-the-scenes maneuvering that keep viewers guessing about her true intentions. Jack Abbott continues to observe the unfolding chaos with cautious detachment. Though he has no love for Victor, he recognizes that a destabilized Newman empire could create ripple effects that impact Jabot. He meets with trusted advisors to game out scenarios, trying to ensure that whatever happens between Victor and Dumas doesn't catch his company off guard. There's also an undercurrent of personal intrigue. Jack knows Victor's pride could lead to explosive mistakes, and part of him can't help but relish the idea of watching his rival squirm. The Adam storyline takes a particularly intriguing turn as he begins to operate in the shadows. Frustrated by Nick's constant second-guessing and eager to prove himself, Adam initiates a secret maneuver to strike at Dumas without telling Victor. His plan involves leveraging a questionable ally and exploiting a weakness in Dumas' organization that he believes only he has identified. But in typical Adam fashion, his risk-taking could either lead to a brilliant victory or a catastrophic misstep. Early spoilers suggest that his actions will have unintended consequences that catch multiple characters off guard. Victoria deepens her own quiet strategy, arranging discreet meetings with contacts who have inside knowledge of Dumas' past. Her digging uncovers a series of intriguing connections that paint a more complex picture of Dumas than anyone expected. He's not just a ruthless businessman, he has a personal vendetta that may be fueling his actions against Victor. The revelation adds a new layer of danger to the situation, as Victoria realizes this isn't just about business, it's personal. As the week unfolds, Genoa City becomes a chessboard where every move counts. Victor strengthens his defenses and prepares for a bold offensive. Dumas spreads his influence like wildfire, gaining ground through charm and strategy. The Newmans struggle to stay united, even as internal divisions threaten to weaken their position. Key characters outside the Newman orbit position themselves to benefit from the chaos, waiting for the perfect moment to make their own plays. The tension reaches another boiling point as Victor receives a shocking piece of news late in the week. A major deal that Newman Enterprises was counting on suddenly collapses, sending shockwaves through the company. The timing and precision of the sabotage make it clear that Dumas was behind it, and this bold strike enrages Victor like never before. His fury is palpable as he vows to hit back twice as hard. The mustache is fully unleashed, and the stage is set for the next phase of a war. By the end of the week, it's clear that the Victor versus Dumas feud has only just begun. Alliances have shifted, betrayals have emerged, and new strategies are being deployed on both sides. The entire city is caught in the crossfire of a power struggle that promises to reshape Genoa City for months to come. With every move and countermove, the stakes rise higher, leaving viewers breathless as they await the next chapter. The aftermath of the sabotaged Newman deal sends Victor into full war mode, and the tone inside the Newman camp shifts dramatically. Gone is the measured strategic discussion. What replaces it is Victor's unmistakable fire, the same relentless drive that built his empire decades ago. He summons his family and top executives to the Newman boardroom for what insiders call one of the most intense meetings in years. With his steely expression and his commanding presence, Victor makes it clear, Dumas has declared war, and there will be no mercy. He instructs his team to prepare for a series of counterattacks that will target Dumas' business operations, public reputation, and personal alliances. However, even as Victor lays out his aggressive strategy, unease simmers beneath the surface. Nick's concerns intensify as he warns that Victor's methods could escalate things beyond control, risking not just the company, but their family's well-being. He reminds everyone that Dumas has already proven he's unpredictable, and a reckless move could play right into his hands. Adam, however, sees this as his moment to shine. He steps forward with bold proposals, offering to spearhead covert operations that could destabilize Dumas from within. His confidence and ambition earn him a cautious nod from Victor, but Nick's distrust of Adam only grows deeper. Meanwhile, Dumas is far from idle. In a series of quiet, calculated moves, he strengthens his alliances with key Genoa City figures who have long felt overshadowed by the Newman Empire. His most shocking coup comes when he manages to win over a high-profile investor previously considered loyal to Victor. This unexpected shift sends ripples through the business community, signaling that Dumas' influence is expanding faster than anyone anticipated. Rumors spread through boardrooms and cocktail parties about Dumas' next moves, with whispers suggesting he's planning something major that could strike at the heart of Newman Enterprises. Victoria continues her undercover information-gathering mission, and her persistence pays off in a dramatic way. Through her discreet contacts, she uncovers a long-buried chapter of Dumas' past that ties directly to Victor. Years ago, long before Dumas became a household name in business circles, his family suffered a devastating loss during a ruthless corporate acquisition, an acquisition led by none other than Victor Newman. This revelation sheds new light on Dumas' actions. His challenge to Victor isn't just about business dominance, it's about revenge, legacy, and personal justice. Victoria realizes that this vendetta runs deep, and Dumas' endgame may be far more dangerous than anyone has imagined. Nikki becomes increasingly alarmed as she watches Victor spiral deeper into the conflict. His long days and sleepless nights bring back memories of past wars that nearly broke their family. She tries to reach him on a personal level, urging him to consider the cost of this battle, but Victor's determination leaves little room for compromise. He assures her that he knows exactly what he's doing, but his eyes reveal the burning intensity of a man who won't rest until his opponent is crushed. Elsewhere, Adam's secret maneuver begins to unfold. Acting without Victor's knowledge, he meets with a figure connected to Dumas' network, offering a back-channel deal that he believes will give Newman Enterprises critical intel. However, in true soap fashion, Adam may have underestimated his opponent. Dumas is one step ahead, and his operatives turn the meeting into a trap, feeding Adam carefully curated misinformation that could misdirect the Newmans at a crucial moment. When Victor eventually learns of Adam's unsanctioned actions, spoilers hint that their confrontation will be explosive, with father and son clashing over trust, control, and steps ambition. Into the spotlight this week as her scheming reaches a pivotal point. After days of deliberation, she decides to leverage the information she discovered against Dumas, but she doesn't give it away for free. In a tense meeting with Victor, she offers him the intel in exchange for favors that could benefit her future endeavors. Victor, recognizing her value, agrees to a deal but warns her not to play both sides. Of course, this is Phyllis, and viewers know she always keeps a few cards up her sleeve. Her involvement adds another unpredictable element to the brewing conflict. Jack Abbott watches these developments unfold with increasing curiosity. He understands that any instability within the Newman Empire could open doors for Jabot to expand. However, he also recognizes that if Dumas succeeds in dismantling Victor's power, it could destabilize the entire business community. Jack debates whether to quietly align with Victor for strategic reasons or to remain neutral and protect his company from the chaos. His scenes this week are filled with quiet intensity as he weighs personal satisfaction against pragmatic caution. Meanwhile, whispers of betrayal begin to swirl within the Newman camp. Strange leaks, suspiciously timed announcements, and subtle misdirections suggest that someone close to Victor may be feeding Dumas critical information. Tensions rise as suspicions fall on various members of the team. Could it be a disgruntled executive seeking power? A family member with hidden motives? Or someone playing both sides for personal gain? Victor begins to quietly investigate, setting traps to flush out the traitor. As the week builds toward its climax, Dumas makes his boldest move yet. In a shocking twist, he announces a major business acquisition that directly threatens Newman Enterprises' market share. The announcement catches Victor and his team off guard, leaving them scrambling to assess the damage. This public power play cements Dumas' status as a formidable rival and sets the stage for an even bigger showdown. The final scenes of the week are nothing short of electric. Victor stands alone in his office late at night, gazing out over Genoa City as thunder rumbles in the distance. The man who has faced countless enemies now finds himself confronting an opponent who combines strategy, charm, and personal vengeance in a way he's rarely encountered. Meanwhile, Dumas toasts his inner circle, confident that his plan is working exactly as intended. By the end of the week, the lines between business strategy, personal vendetta, and family loyalty have blurred beyond recognition. The Newman Empire is under siege from both external and internal forces, and the war with Dumas is only just beginning. Viewers can expect shocking betrayals, shifting alliances, and emotional confrontations as the summer heats up and Genoa City becomes the ultimate battlefield. The fallout from Dumas' shocking business acquisition sends shockwaves through Genoa City. Victor's fury reaches a boiling point as the Newman board scrambles to control the narrative. Behind closed doors, Victor wastes no time preparing a devastating counterattack. He contacts longtime allies, activates dormant business connections, and issues quiet ultimatums designed to cut off Dumas' supply lines before the rival can fully consolidate his gains. This is the Victor Newman the city remembers, the master tactician whose ruthlessness built an empire. Meanwhile, the mystery mole inside Newman Enterprises finally slips up. A confidential document, doctored to trace its path, lands in Dumas' hands within hours. Victor's trap works flawlessly. Late one night, he receives the confirmation he's been waiting for. The betrayal has come from someone shockingly close to home. Although the name isn't revealed immediately, the revelation hits Victor like a thunderbolt. He vows to deal with the traitor personally, and the chilling calm in his voice signals that a reckoning is near. At the same time, Adam's covert maneuver backfires in spectacular fashion. The misleading intel Dumas fed him leads Newman's legal team into a dead end, wasting precious time and resources. When Victor learns the truth, a fiery confrontation erupts. Adam defends his actions, claiming he was only trying to prove his worth, but Victor lashes out, furious that Adam's rogue move gave Dumas an opening. Their clash leaves deep emotional scars, and the tension between father and son threatens to explode further in the weeks ahead. Victoria quietly moves into position with her own plan. Now that she knows Dumas' vendetta stems from Victor's actions decades ago, she begins forging a strategy that blends empathy with leverage. She discreetly reaches out to one of Dumas' oldest allies, hoping to gather more personal information that could be weaponized, or perhaps used to broker an unexpected truce. Her calm, calculated maneuvers stand in sharp contrast to Victor's aggressive methods, hinting that she may emerge as the key player in this war. Nikki, watching everything unravel, senses the danger in Victor's single-minded obsession. She warns him that the more he tightens his grip, the more likely it is that cracks will appear within their own ranks. But Victor, consumed by the betrayal and Dumas' boldness, refuses to slow down. He's convinced that crushing Dumas swiftly will restore order and reaffirm the Newman legacy. Dumas, for his part, grows increasingly confident. He sees Adam's misstep as proof that the Newman family is fracturing under pressure. He doubles down on his charm offensive, courting more allies and laying the groundwork for another strategic strike. In a private conversation with his inner circle, he hints that the real coup is still to come, and when it does, it will shake Victor to his core. The week builds toward a breathtaking cliffhanger as Victor prepares to confront the traitor. The boardroom is tense, the family is divided, and Genoa City buzzes with speculation about who will fall next. By the time the final scenes fade, it's clear that the Victor versus Dumas war has only just begun, and the next move could change everything. The tension inside Newman Enterprises reaches a breaking point as Victor prepares to unmask the traitor who's been secretly feeding Dumas critical intel. For days, whispers have swirled through the halls, creating an atmosphere thick with paranoia. Executives eye each other with suspicion, while family members brace for the storm they know is coming. Victor has kept the identity of the mole tightly guarded, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. That moment arrives in dramatic fashion during a high-stakes family gathers around the conference table. Victor's piercing gaze sweeps the room. He speaks slowly, deliberately, recounting how Dumas consistently managed to stay one step ahead. The evidence is laid out piece by piece, and then he drops the bombshell. The mole isn't a distant associate or a nameless executive. It's someone they've trusted implicitly. Gasps ripple through the room as Victor reveals the name, and the betrayal sends shockwaves through both the family and the company. The traitor's motivations are as shocking as the betrayal itself. Early spoilers hint that greed, resentment, and a sense of being overlooked played key roles. The mole saw Dumas as a rising power and believed switching sides would secure a brighter future than staying loyal to Victor. But Victor Newman doesn't take betrayal lightly. With cold precision, he outlines exactly how the traitor's actions have jeopardized everything they've built. His voice never rises, but the quiet fury behind it makes everyone shiver. Meanwhile, Dumas revels in the chaos. His operatives confirm that Victor has discovered the mole, but instead of panicking, Dumas sees this as an opportunity. He knows Victor will deal with the traitor swiftly, and he plans to exploit the emotional fallout that follows. He instructs his team to keep up the pressure, striking while Newman Enterprises is distracted by internal conflict. Adam, still reeling from his earlier confrontation with Victor, watches the betrayal unfold with a mix of bitterness and vindication. He knows what it feels like to be doubted, and part of him can't help but compare his situation to the traitor's. But unlike the mole, Adam's loyalty, however complicated, still lies with the family, and this moment might become a turning point for him in the weeks ahead. Victoria, ever the strategist, quickly shifts gears. She recognizes that Victor's rage could cloud his judgment, so she quietly begins taking steps to stabilize the company behind the scenes. She calls key allies, reassures nervous partners, and works to close any vulnerabilities that Dumas might exploit in the aftermath. Her calm and efficiency stand in stark contrast to the storm brewing in Victor's office, setting her up as a crucial stabilizing force. Nikki tries once more to reach Victor emotionally, reminding him that the family must stay united to survive this war. But Victor's focus is razor-sharp. His next move is to make an example of the traitor. He wants the entire business community to know that betrayal has consequences, and he's willing to go to extraordinary lengths to make sure no one ever dares cross him again. As the week barrels toward its dramatic conclusion, Dumas prepares his next big strike, sensing that Victor's obsession with revenge has opened a brief but dangerous window. Spoilers hint that his upcoming move will be a shock even to his closest allies, something that pushes the Newman-Dumas war into uncharted territory. By the end of this page, the betrayal has been exposed, Victor's fury is unleashed, and Dumas is tightening his grip. The battle lines are clearer than ever, but the war is far from over. Genoa City has become a pressure cooker, and the next moves will determine who rises and who falls. The Newman Empire is in upheaval as Victor prepares to exact his long-awaited revenge on the traitor who jeopardized everything. The boardroom has transformed into a tense courtroom of sorts, with Victor holding the floor as he delivers a chilling lecture on loyalty, power, and consequences. Every word he utters carries weight, and the room falls silent under the intensity of his gaze. The traitor, caught red-handed, struggles to defend their actions, but Victor is unrelenting. His strategy is as psychological as it is punitive. He doesn't just want to punish. He wants to make a public statement that betrayal will never be tolerated in the Newman Empire. Meanwhile, the fallout reaches every corner of the company. Employees whisper in hallways, stock prices fluctuate slightly as rumors leak, and Genoa City's social circles buzz with speculation about who could have dared to defy Victor Newman. The exposed betrayal creates cracks in the Newman ranks, with even long-standing allies questioning their positions and weighing whether to stay loyal or hedge their bets. Victor's display of controlled fury sends a clear message. Loyalty is paramount, and the consequences of disloyalty are swift and severe. Outside the walls of Newman Enterprises, Dumas is already taking advantage of the chaos. He moves quickly, launching a surprise strike against one of Victor's most lucrative holdings. Early spoilers suggest that this maneuver is audacious, bold, and calculated to inflict maximum damage. By the time Victor reacts, the initial blow has been delivered, forcing the Newmans into defensive mode. Dumas' move confirms what everyone feared. He is not just a challenger in business. He is a tactical mastermind with the patience and cunning to outmaneuver even the most experienced foes. Adam watches the escalating conflict with a mixture of apprehension and fascination. His earlier mistakes weigh heavily on him, but he sees Dumas' calculated strike as an opportunity to redeem himself. Spoilers hint that Adam may take bold steps to assist Victoria behind the scenes, helping her stabilize the empire, while Victor channels his anger toward revenge. The stage is set for a tense interplay between impulsive action and measured strategy, highlighting the contrasts between father and children, old guard and new blood. Victoria, fully aware of Dumas' growing threat, begins orchestrating a series of countermeasures. She reaches out to influential allies, reassures worried partners, and carefully monitors Dumas' movements to anticipate his next move. Her calm, tactical approach provides a stabilizing presence amid the chaos, yet it also sets the stage for her own rise as a key player in the war. Victoria's intelligence and foresight may ultimately become the linchpin that determines the outcome of this escalating conflict. Nikki, concerned about the emotional toll on the family, continues to urge Victor to temper his fury with reason. She fears that his obsession with punishing the traitor could blind him to the larger threat Dumas now represents. Yet Victor remains laser-focused, convinced that a strong show of power against betrayal is essential before he can fully confront Dumas. The tension between love, family, and legacy underscores the stakes, reminding viewers that even a titan like Victor Newman is not invincible. By the end of this part, the battle lines are firmly drawn. Victor has delivered his retribution, Dumas has struck boldly, and the Newmans are scrambling to regain control. Genoa City itself feels like a powder keg, with every character caught in the reverberations of this war. Alliances will be tested, loyalties questioned, and strategies continuously recalibrated as both sides brace for the next phase. The week closes on a dramatic cliffhanger, leaving fans eagerly anticipating whether Victor will successfully counter Dumas' daring strike, or if this bold adversary has finally found a way to outwit one of Genoa City's most formidable forces.